Op Garage Racer. We have another episode of our coolest BMW M4 project on a lot of power. In the previous series, you learned how much you can squeeze out of this car just by having a downpipe and firmware from the phone. So if you haven't seen the vid, you should. We're gonna find out how much you can squeeze out of this car. On a simple downpipe and custom firmware on gasoline and alcohol, that is the maximum. On a car with a downpipe. So who is interested, don't switch. Like, subscribe, put a bell. Grab your popcorn and let's go. Since we are engaged in chip tuning, but we do not have a stand and now we do not have summer, so we go to our favorite stand. We stopped at a gas station. UPG. Canisters. Borrowed one. One is ours. 130 liters, and to the test bench because we have 104 kilometers left in the tank, and that's it. Maybe 10 liters, 15. The consumption now shows 14.7 and already 16.9. Come on, let's get some of that. $650 horsepower. Power. That's a lot of power, I can imagine. When we do the 800 horsepower, soup of tuning to try and make it gasoline powered. 800 horsepower, because 800 horsepower on spirits, you can't do shit on standard clubs. You can buy a port injection, a cradle, and the port injection itself. Well, they're sold together in Wales. Well, it also costs a lot of money. They're $37,000. Well, I do not like alcohol, as you understand. I'm in a twin. It's got 685 horsepower, but I've only ridden it only 4 times, maybe 5 times. Once at the tuning, once at the Ukrainian Drag Championship, once at the Kyiv Drag Cup. At the torque shoot in Odessa, and Serge has it on Vidos. For me, it's not a viable move to fill the tank with E50. Wait until well, you have to store it somewhere, and wait for it to settle, switch the firmware, that sort of thing. Basically, there are problems with alcohol storage. In the end, this option doesn't work for me. By the way, we're on our way to the booth. Now we had the old measurements corrected for warmer weather. There's 650 horsepower and 647, 648. And now this measurement, which is 650 horsepower uncorrected, it's 3 horsepower less, and 647. So we're basing it on that. Up. What we have without 3, without the correction. Ran 8, which was 650, is now 647. Our first attempt, our first summer up, we're at 654. So we're going from 647. Some good news. 683 power. Maybe that's the maximum, but there were different versions of it. Something like 620 and 654. What are they calling us to show us? Alexander, explain to the audience. What's next? Do you want to go further? Do you not have to go further? What is there? What is the danger? Detonation risks appear.
Blowing more is pointless when you have the towels together and fuel is usually safe. To blow more, you have to put alcohol in your tank.
Nah, what if there's no knockback? What's not safe? We can do it. We're gonna raise the corners and there'll be kickbacks. Nah, what if we raise the inflation? There's a kickback. We'd have to roll back the corners. No, what if we raise the inflation a little bit and don't roll anything back?
You'll have to roll the corners back a lot.
Are you sure? What if you take the inflation now and make it bigger? You'd have to roll the corners back. Nah.
So now it's backing down 1.5 degrees.
Where? You showed me on one poor cylinder? Well, one cylinder backed off at 2000 RPM and then it was gone, then one at 3, then one at 5. At 6000 RPM, one cylinder rolls back. So what makes you think that's the limit? 1 degree of one cylinder, not all 6 cylinders.
You You need to blow more, you want to blow more. You come in, you say you need to make it normal, so it doesn't... Safe. We made it safe for you. Small kickbacks. Adequate boost, adequate angle at which we're going to hit.
And fifth cylinder minus 1.5. At 6,000 RPM, one cylinder. You mean when there's a rollback, the power drops?
If there are pullbacks, it's still a no-brainer to raise corners. Because the rollbacks will only get worse.
2 relatively. That's a lot.
So you're asking for more.
No. It's like 2 series. Wait, it's like 2 series on alcohols. There's plenty of power. You know, what's the point of not having it? That's the secret to this. Compression ratio. On the boot mod without correction, it was 647. On the custom firmware, we got 688. We looked there that 3 bars short, absolute, relative to. The guys say you don't need more because there is a rollback on 1 cylinder, on 3 cylinders, but at different times, at different RPM, I mean at the top RPM on the power. There's a 5th cylinder, something like 1.5 degrees of rollback. They think that's optimal and they don't need to blow anymore, to be safe. Alright, now it's time for stage 2 plus, stage 2 plus time. Moving on, trying to get the most out of the stage 2 light, I wouldn't even say Stag 2 plus. Because there's no Nullvix, no straight line, no water methanol, port injection and so on. Bombge stage 2, downpipes only, trying to max it out. Because maxing out is what's our best friend. Best friend is a keg of alcohol, a barrel of honey for the bear. Now we're going to pour in E40. That's what the fuel system can optimally handle. On the load, we don't have any gauges or flex fuels or anything like that. We're going to fill it according to the proportions, based on what the gauges in the tank say. Right now, the gauges in the tank show 13 liters. We're about 10 liters right now. That would be 23 together. And that's exactly 10 liters of alcohol under E40. This way, if you're going to be running alcohol a lot, I suggest you put a gauge and pour in alcohol, like on the 2 series. It's clear, the gauge looks clear. But we'll have a sensor too. Boot mod flex fuel, and there we will try how the firmware is changed by alcohol. Op. What's special for you? Stage 2. We have alcohol. Special for YouTube. YouTube doesn't know it yet, but I've just got the turbos from stage 3 lying around. Well, we're struggling here, so we're testing it for you. For you, we're testing how much you can actually get out of the car, specifically on our car, not from the internet, but in real life. We could have told you the information from the internet, or what kind of results you've gotten. What examples there have been, but like, let's try it on our own. What we have here. 745, 754. Nice, that's interesting. I've never driven a car this powerful before. Alright, let's check the logs. Ran 19, 754 power. Look, it's rolling. We're doing 3,100 boost. That's a space plane's worth of boost. 1817. So the boost hasn't changed. Let's talk about this. 647 was 688. That's on the custom. 754. That's the max. That's our E40 alcohol. So, what do you think of the results? Well, it's kind of what I expected. I mean, that was the plan. Should be in there at 700, and the alcohol should be 740. It's definitely 750. That's about the most power I've ever had in my car. The most power that Garage Racer had on his cars. I mean, it's already cool. That's more than 2 series. It's already 100, 200 time. Probably somewhere around 5.2, 5.3, 5.1. Well, we'll have to see what kind of time it is. It was interesting to break 5 seconds, but that would require either more port injection or put more methanol in there. But we're kind of on our way. What's the idea anyway? I don't like spirit cars. I didn't ride the 2 Series like that. That's why the idea is to make everything gas powered, so that it's powerful fast all the time, so that you get out, you don't have to get alcohol, you don't have to go through the hassle of that and so on. Idea, we make the most of gasoline. I mean, for 2 Series, we've got a maximum of 525 horsepower on gas. Here we've got 688 max on gas. That's like a twin with alcohol. It's funny, isn't it? How can we make it bigger? Well, the first thing we can do is put more turbo in. More turbos can give you efficiency. Increase the efficiency, reduce the heat in the air, we can inflate it more. More turbos can delay detonation. That's basically the same thing that's happening with a stage 3 328 or a stage 3 535 and the twin. I mean, the twin on stock turbos can only do so much. There's something like 450, 60, 70 horsepower. There you go. On a custom. On a stage 3 turbo, it can make 525 horsepower. So here we're looking at maybe 50 or 100 horsepower with the turbos. On gasoline. Next, we have an idea for water methanol. So what I'm doing now is building FTP charge pipes there, and we're going to install a charge pipe with that methanol water setup. This will already give the effect. It's kind of like port injection, but less alcohol is poured in and less alcohol is wasted. You put it in a separate tank. Alcohol. And it increases the octane, cools the intake, and adds fuel, which isn't enough. Adds injectors. It's going to have 2 injectors. That's the plan. So it's going to give us the ability to increase the angle. It's like a port injection, only it's so weak. A weak alcohol tank. That's what water methanol is. A little bit of alcohol tank. E10, E20 can be done like this. We're hoping to get like 50 horsepower. What's our idea? That we won't have alcohol in the tank, and there's no load on the boost with alcohol. We don't need a lot of alcohol. We'll have an extra tank with an extra pump with extra water methanol nozzles, which will only add outside to add fuel. And not load the system with alcohol, and won't have to change the stoichiometry. There won't be any of that. Everything will be clear. Anyway, water methanol. It'll give you 50, 100 more horsepower. It's like a gasoline-powered car, only it's injected. I mean, you don't have to put anything in your tank. It's just once a month or a week. It's a separate tank. There'll be a separate tank in the trunk, just like on a twin. You fill it up once a month, and that's it. And we have a third trump card. It's the anti-boost. It's, shafts. It's to shift the torque further up the revs. 500 revs forward. What's 500 revs? At 6,500 revs is 8% or 9. At 5,000 it's 10%. That's weird. The RPM's gone down. On the boot mod it was 6,500. It's 6,200. Anyway, we've got power, for example, at 6. If we move them down to at least 6,500. That's an 8% increase. 64 more horsepower. In theory, you can make 850 horsepower on gasoline without alcohol. And we're not running into fuel restrictions. And we're not increasing torque. We're not increasing the torque. We're just shifting it forward. So we're not increasing the boost. We're not changing the ignition angle. And it turns out it's going to be fun. And what do we have? We got turbos. The turbos took 2 days to arrive. We start with the turbos. It should be noted that we have on power. In torque, we have 908 torque. What does that mean? That's for the M, for a relatively revving motor. That's pretty cool.
How much alcohol did we use, 10? Yeah, it's not like we put 40 or something. Press this one down deep and hold it a little bit. Let it go. Now. That's it. Take your hand. That's it. It's fine.
You left the catalytic converter warming up in there. It's frying now.
Leave it in and people complain that in the morning the RPMs are
Up. At the back. Smoke. White smoke. White or something like that. Not blue, but so white and boiling fast. And then you switch to the M1. Port plus. All the gates open up. The car starts humming. It's braking. You have to brake properly. The flaps are opening. What do you think? What do you think? Up. I'm guessing up early. M2, M1. car. Yeah, it's a lovely place. Anyway, it's fine. Oh, it's okay, everybody. Congratulations. Being beaten at all, I don't know. They broke their own record. 497. Let's see if it's valid or not. The most important thing is that it was valid now. It's a bit of a downhill slide here, of course, but like, we need it to be valid. Congratulations. Valid, I don't know. I'm not really happy about something, but like, I have more power, was happy, but like, not really on alcohol either. Anyway, what was the problem just now? The problem was is that if you start from 50-60, it's four-wheeling. It's +1 degree, I've got summer tires. Four-wheel lock. And then it goes into DSC off, and then it's a mess. So I tried starting at about 80 in DSC off all the way through to get it to, well, it didn't go into DSC off and everything was fine anyway. I don't think it's the DSC off, I think it's the hill. We're going back now, there's some good bumps here. Phew, I made it home. You can congratulate me. It's faster, more powerful than the 2 Series. It's the fastest car I've ever had. It's a thrill to accelerate. Unfortunately, it was not possible to measure 100 to 200 on the firmware on gasoline at 688 HP because the car was already on alcohol and then came to Nyashka and we put it on, and it's sort of an irrelevant measurement. But in the next episodes we will show you how much, well, there, approximately would be the time for 688 forces on stage 2. So subscribe and stay tuned.